chapter 2, entitled Nam Vishnupada Prakaranam. So now we'll understand what is a Vishnupada. Prakarana stands for chapter, and Nama means noun. So, noun declension. So we'll get to see how different forms like Ramaha, Ramahu, Ramaha, ityadi, they are made. And it's really interesting. It's like mathematics. You have formulas, you put together the formulas, and you get the result. So really good. अथ नाम जानि विष्णुपदानि नाम्नो जातानि यानि विष्णुपदानि अथानन्तरं तानि निरूप्यन्ते. Now the Vishnupadas, inflected words produced from a nama, nominal base, are going to be described. Okay, we'll move ahead and we'll get to know what is Vishnupada, what is nama.
What does
Adhatu,
it mean inflected?
uh, just a minute. Yeah, it's just coming. So just coming. So Adhatu Vishnu Bhaktikam Arthavan Nama. What is a nama? So the definition is any word that has meaning except for dhatus and Vishnu bhaktis is called a nama. So I was reading something based on Panini, and they also have the similar definition for nama. I'll just read it out. Yeah. So the Panini system, they say nama as pratipadika. So we say it nama, and the Panini system, they say it to be pratipadikam, which means uh, a nominal base, the original entity. We'll read about what is nominal base, what is original entity just now. So, yes. Okay. So, any word that has meaning except for dhatus and Vishnu bhaktis. So, dhatus are the verbal roots, the verbs, and Vishnu bhaktis are the pratyas, the suffixes, either nominal suffixes or verbal suffixes. So, except for the dhatus and the pratyas, any other word which has got a meaning, which is arthavat, which has got a meaning, is called a nama.
What's
Okay.
the difference between nominal and verbal suffix? Can you give one example of each one?
Verbal suffix is okay. Nominal suffix is like Rama. So this is a nominal suffix. It's a name. Oh, you're asking suffixes, right? Okay. So sorry. Suffixes are the pratyas. If you just wait for 1 minute, the next two sutras are dealing with it actually, 88 and 89. So
Okay.
yeah, just coming. So Bhu and so on, Sananta and so on are called dhatus. This is the next chapter, dhatus. Swadhis and Tibadis are called Vishnu Bhaktis. Okay, we'll just read that also. Okay, so we'll just move to the next one. Prakriti Purva, and the next one is Pratyayah Paraha. Okay, I'll just explain now. So there are two things. One is Prakriti and another is Pratyaya. And when both of them are combined, they result into a Vishnu Pada, which is the inflected word, right? So Prakriti could be said as the original entity, and pratyas are the suffixes. So please note it down. Now, Prakriti is of two types.
I think in English sometimes they call the original entity the stem.
Yes, you can say that also. Stem. Stem word, they say, I think. So, Prakriti, the stem words, they are of two kinds. One is the nominal base, which is referred to as nama in our Vyakaran and as Pratipadika in Panini. Okay, and they are nouns. Second type of Prakriti is the verbal roots, which is known as the dhatu, dhatu, or you can even say them akhyata, the words. Example for nominal base could be like Rama, without any ending here, like no Rama, no Ramam, only Rama, pure word. Like any other word would be Pitri, and so on. Example of verbal roots could be Bhu, from which Bhavati and so on becomes, and Kri, which is literally Karane, Dukri, which means to do, Karoti and so on, comes from it. So that's how we have got two types of Prakriti. Okay. And we have four types of Pratyas. So we have the sutra here, Prakriti Purva Pratyaya Para. So first we are understanding what is Prakriti and what is Pratyaya. So we understood what is Prakriti. Now Pratyayas are of four kinds. So the first ones are the Suadhi Pratyas, Suadhis. Second one are the Tibadis. So Suadhis, Suadhis, Tibadis. Then Krit, Pratyas, and the last one, the
Kyatas is the same as Tibadis.
Yes.
Are there some examples of this?
Yeah, a lot of examples. So for Swadhis, for example, Rama. So okay. So we are just talking of the pratyas. So this is like one pratyaya of Swadhi. One for this. Kridant has got many pratyas. For example, the Tadhita also many. No. And so on. These are just one examples.
So su usually comes before, but here it's being said that it comes after.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
The pratyaya su usually comes before. It's a prefix, but this sutra is saying that it's the second part. So it's still
Any
referred
any example for that? Which
Sulochana, To dharma.
Actually, that is prefix. That is a different thing.
I see.
This is a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, prefixes are upasargas and suffixes are pratyas.
I see. So this svadi is referring, so like in lokeshu or something that
Yes,
that su.
yes.
Okay.
So Prathayas are suffixes and
Pratyas
the
are
other.
suffixes, and the other thing is the prefixes,
How are they called here?
upasargas.
Is pratyaya like in the word Krishna, Sya, the Sya part will be pratyaya?
Yes. Yeah.
Excuse me, why the words in brackets like SU and TI, then in brackets P? What does that mean?
So yeah, that's just the next sutra. So is this clear? The Prakriti and Pratyaya. So that's how we combine Prakriti and Pratyas, and they result into a final Vishnu Padas. So now, so the first part of a Vishnu Pada is called the Prakriti. And Pratyaya Paraha, the second part is called the Pratyas. So we read what is Prakriti and what is Pratyaya. Moving ahead, so here it is also explained four kinds of Pratyas: Swadhis, Akhyata, Krit.
And one question, sorry to interrupt, but how is a Prakriti plus a Upasarga a Vishnu Pada or not?
No, we have to add suffixes.
And what would be the name of a Prakriti plus a Upasarga?
That means unless we add any pratyaya, any suffix, we cannot have a Vishnu Pada. And Vishnu Pada is a final form.
Okay.
So it's still incomplete. We have to add either of these four pratyas.
Okay, so Vishnu Pada is only with Prakriti and Pratyaya, not with prefixes.
No, they are like, you can say, understand, like supplementary words. Of course, they have a lot of meanings. That's a different thing. But pratyas have to be added to get a final form.
Okay.
Now here this chapter will deal with the first type of pratyas, which are the Suadhis, the nominal suffixes. So you can just also write this. So Swadhis are nominal suffixes, Akhyata verbal, Krit. They are suffixes used to form a naam from dhatu, and Tadita suffix used to form a naam from another naam. So we get to see these three usages of them when we come to that chapter. In this chapter, we'll deal with uh, the nominal base plus the Swadhis. So this chapter will deal with it. The nominal base, the namas, and plus the Swadhis. So these are the 21 pratyas which are called Swadhis. Because it begins with Su, if you see the Su here, that's why it's called Su Adi becomes Swadhi. Su Adi Udvayam Vaha becomes Swadhi. Okay. So the pratyas are okay. Pratyas are also called Vishnu Bhaktis. So it's a synonym. The pratyas are also called Vishnu Bhakti. Generally, it's known as Vibhakti, but because it's Harinamamrta Vyakaranam, so Jiva Goswami converted Vibhakti into Vishnu Bhakti, the Pratyaya. The Vishnu Bhaktis applied after a Nama are as follows. Suadhis Amoshas. We may have a table here. Okay, we'll create a table for this one. So these are 21 in number. So first is, okay, let me do one thing. Okay. So first of all, it's Ek Vachana, Dvi Vachana, and Bahuvachana. Then Prathama Vibhakti, then Ditiya Vibhakti, Tritiya Vibhakti, Chaturthi Vibhakti, Panchami Vibhakti, Shashti Vibhakti, Saptami Vibhakti. Okay. We can also write like this. First case, second case, third case, fourth case, fifth case, sixth case, and seventh case.
There
Same
are
thing.
also words for this, right? Third is instrumental, and then
Okay. Okay, let's write that even.
Nominal, accusative, instrumental.
Yeah. Okay, we'll write it. No problem. So the first one is just a nominative. Yeah. Nominative. Second is accusative. Then instrumental. Fourth one is dative. Then ablative. Then genitive. Okay. And actually, there is also one more thing, which is the
vocative.
yeah. So that's
Sambodhana.
Yeah, Sambodhana, which is, it's not a case, so it's just vocative. We can even write their Sanskrit names. So this is Karta, Karma, Karana, Sampradana, Apadana, Sambandha, Adhikarana, and this is Yeah, Sambodhana again. Okay, so now here are the pratyas. Su, Au, Jas, Au, Shas, Ta, Bhyam, Bhis, Me, Bhyam, Bhyas, Yasi, Bhyam, Bhyas, Yes, Aus, Am, Ngi, Aus, and Sup. So the eighth one takes the same as the Prathama Vibhakti. So we'll repeat that. Su, Au, Jas. So these are
Now the
the
question about the brackets. What is the answer about why the words are in brackets, the letters?
yeah. The answer is the next sutra. We're just coming to that.
Okay.
Doesn't this depend on the gender of the noun though?
What thing?
Like for Krishna, it will be different. For Durga, it will be different.
We're in the masculine section.
So that depends on the words, whether they are on in which linga, in which gender. But the
Yeah.
pratyas, they remain the same every time. Okay, so you may please write it. So you have to memorize these pratyas. Means otherwise we cannot just move ahead. So one more thing is, like, there is a way of saying these pratyas or the forms. So this is 1.1. 1.1 refers to the first one. So the first one refers to the Prathama Vibhakti, and the second one refers to that it's Ek Vachana. Similarly, if we say 1.2, then it's Prathama Vibhakti and Dvivachana. When we say 1.3, then Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachana. Okay. Similarly, we have to understand with all the pratyas. This would be 2.1, Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekvachana. This would be 4.2, Chaturthi Vibhakti Dvivachana, and so on. Okay.
And feminine and masculine, how can you put?
That is when we get the Prakriti. So we decide feminine and masculine or neuter by the Prakriti. These are pratyas.
Yeah, what I mean is there a number or some letter to figure out if it's Napumsalinga,
That's
Strilinga?
like predetermined. So we have to check from the dictionaries.
Okay.
Dictionaries like Amar Kosha, and so even this Golden Dick also tells you. If it says M masculine, F feminine, N neuter. If it says MF, then it means both. So like that, dictionaries tell that. Okay, I think you all have written it. And okay, here comes the next sutra. Tatra Jatashamapa itaha ushchasahu ngaserishcha. Among the Vishnu Bhaktis, which we just did, the letters Ja, Ta, Sha, Nga, and Pa are indicatory letters. It's so those letters in brackets you were asking, they are known as the indicatory letters. In Sanskrit, they are known as it. It's not it, it's Sanskrit it. The U of Su 1.1 and the E of Ngasi are also its indicatory letters. Now, what does it mean?
Mhm.
An indicatory letter, which is it in Sanskrit, is so named because it goes, it does not remain. Uh, which means, for example, if we take a nominal base, let's say Rama, and we bring 1.1, which is Su, and we have to do the sadhana, the declension. So then it means these letters in brackets, they disappear. They are not used in the final form. They just disappear. And the word only we have is S here, sir. And then when we apply sutras and we get the final forms. So these letters in brackets, they are not to be used while declension, while doing the declension. Now you may say, then what is the use of putting these different letters in the brackets? Then it says, okay, another name of it is Anubandha. So it is either known as it or Anubandha. So the usages are, sometimes an indicatory letter is used to aid pronunciation. So it is used for pronunciation sometimes. For example, like this Su. Okay, now because we have U here, so we can pronounce Su. If I remove U, can we anyhow pronounce this letter? No, because Sarveshwaras can be pronounced independently, but the Vishnu Janas, they need help of the Sarveshwaras to be pronounced. So for pronunciation, one point is that these indicatory letters are used, and sometimes to create a distinguishing characteristic, sometimes to create a difference between two pratyas. For example, 1.3 is us and 2.3 is also us. Both are same, but how do we difference? Do we do a difference between them? By the indicator letter j, and in this case it's sh. So that's how it creates a difference between the same looking pratyas. And sometimes it is the cause nimitta of the application of a rule or a prohibition. And sometimes, uh, like the sutras use such indicatory letters to create a sutra so that a particular karya can take place. For example, like in these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have this nga, the indicatory letter nga. So now there will be sutra which will say that in the pratyas which have nga in it, adesha will take place. So they are taking help of these indicatory letters to create a sutra so that a particular karya can take place. So that is the third usage. So these are the three usages why indicatory letters are used. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was it from Jiva Goswami. The three usages, one is Ucharana, pronunciation. Second is to create a difference. And third is that it becomes the cause of the application of a rule. So that was it. And it gives all of the indicatory letters in Suadhis, Ja, Ta, Shanga, Pa, U, and E. Here also we have a list. The same thing. Okay, we'll do one more sutra today. Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Now, what is a Vishnu Pada at last? That which is formed by the application of a Vishnu Bhakti is called a Vishnu Pada. The form of a Nama or of a Dhatu achieved through the application of a Vishnu Bhakti is called Vishnu Pada. Earlier grammarians called it Pada. Same thing when we combine Prakriti and Pratyaya. So Pratyayas are also known as Vishnu Bhakti. So the final form we get is the Vishnu Pada, which is also called Pada by other grammarians.
So an avyaya would not be a pada?
And
Avyaya, these words that are unchangeable, like oh.
Abhyas are also Vishnu Padas. Actually, this is a good
Also.
question. They are also Vishnu Padas.
But they don't, this rule doesn't apply for them?
No, this rule applies. What happens is at the end of this chapter, we'll read. So Jiva Goswami has created two sutras where he will do is, for example, just say any abhyaya. For example, let's say,
Hey.
okay, hey. Let's say hey is an abhyaya. Now what he does is he brings pratyas, for example, su, and he says that after the abhyas, all the pratyas will be deleted. So what remains is the same.
Acha.
And he just makes that sutra just so that no one defies his own rule of Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Because it is a rule that no one can use any word, whether it be avyaya or anything, without it is joined with Vishnu Bhakti. So here he brings it and he deletes it so that the formality is done. So the form remains the same.
Okay.
Good question, actually. Any other thing here?
And how do you recognize in the avyaya which one of the pratyayas are being there? Because you cannot see them, right?
There is no such use or there is no such need of identifying, because obviously they carry just one single meaning and we just have to know that meaning. So no need for that adding of pratyayas and removing them is just a formality, pure formality. Yeah.
Just one more question. I mean, at least for me, it's a little bit abstract. This su, au, jas, au, shash. Could we see examples, or could you send or something where we can look?
Look like
the application of these words, at least for me as a Westerner, you know.
No, just the next sutra 93. Will begin the declension here. See.
Much.
It's just coming up, the next sutra.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I can just keep reading the book and.
Yeah, so next class we'll just start the declension, provided you remember the sutras and you know the meanings. So, yes. So please memorize the whole, the pratyas, 21 of them.
Can you send this list you made, because it's very clear how you put it with
Yes.
karta, karma, karana.
Share the whole doc today I made, plus these.
Yeah, please. That's very clear.
Okay, so I hope this is clear, and so we'll start with the declensions the next class, and so we'll do Anvaya now.
Just one small question before that. When we memorize this, shall we memorize with the verb, with the word in brackets, like su, au, jas, or only su, au, as?
No, everything with the indicator letters. So I'll just pronounce it for once so that. So su, au, jas, au, shas, ta, bhyam, bhis, me, bhyam, bhyas, ngasi, bhyam, bhyas, nas, os, am, ni, os, sup. So that's how we have to memorize. Okay.
Okay.
What I have learned in high school, the feminine and neuter were slightly different. Like mala, male, malaha. Instead of au, it was a.
No, actually, what will happen is when we will do the declension, when we'll learn the formation of words, so there certain sutras will come in, and with the help of certain sutras, the forms, the pratyas will change a bit here and there. But the mool pratyas are these 21 only. This
So instead
out,
of just memorizing that the feminine is that, it'll explain that
yeah, actually,
some sutra, the feminine is that.
what happens is mostly what we do in schools or anywhere else is we just memorize the tables, the declensions, the forms. We do not know how they are formed. Here we learn how each word is formed, so naturally we'll be able to memorize the words. So for example, Mataji is saying male, so the word is mala, and let's say we apply 1.2, which is au. Now there will be a sutra in that Strilinga, which will say that okay, in this case you convert au into Trivikrama e, so that will become Mala Yukta e, and then we'll apply Advai Midvai a, and it would become Male. Okay, so we'll have such certain sutras ahead.
Hmm.
It's very interesting. You'll really like it. Okay, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the pratyas are these only. They won't change. This is a good thing.
So even though it's feminine, you just wrote male.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm making a joke because in English it
It's
looks male.
it's Malay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Canto 1, Chapter 1 and text 23. So Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashthamadhunopete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gataha. He Suta, O Suta Goswami, योगेश्वरे योगींद्र वंदित चरणे ब्रह्मण्ये ब्राह्मण गोप्तरी धर्म वर्मणि सनातन धर्मस्य वर्मणि कवचवत रक्षके अधुना इदानीं साम्प्रतं स्वाम काष्ठां निज नित्यं धाम अप्रकट लीलामिति अर्थः उपेते उपगते प्राप्ते वा सति धर्मः सनातन धर्मः कम शरणम आश्रयम गतः प्राप्तः तत् ब्रूहि कथय कम आश्रित्य सनातन धर्मः अधुना तिष्ठति तत् च ब्रूहि इति अर्थः. So Shaunakadi rishis are inquiring from Suta Goswami that, O Suta Goswami, when the Lord, who is known as Yogeshwara, whose lotus feet are worshipped by the best of the, the yogis, who is the protector of Brahmanas, who is uh, the protector, like an arm shield, like a kavacha armor of Sanatana Dharma, eternal religious principles. Yeah. So one whose feet are worshipped by the best of the yogis, one who is the protector of Brahmanas, one who acts like a protecting shield of the Sanatan Dharma. So now, such a Lord, Adhuna, now, Idanim, now, currently, he has
I'm sorry,
Upagate.
what was the function of Varmani in that? It seemed like if Varmani is.
Varmani is explained as Kavachvat Rakshake. So Varman,
Oh, okay,
Varman,
so it's loss. Okay.
yeah, Varman literally means that shield, armor. So it's defensive armor. It says so Kavachvat, Kavach. So now such a Lord has returned upagati, or he has returned uh, to his swam abode. Kashtham means nija nityam dhama, his own eternal abode, which means he has entered into his aprakat leela. Now, since he was on planet Earth, he was manifesting his prakat leela, the manifested pastimes. Now he has returned to his aprakat leela, the unmanifested pastimes. So, in such a situation, when the Lord has entered into his unmanifested pastimes in his eternal abode, so now dharma, the Sanatan dharma, whose shelter has have the Sanatana Dharma gone? Where did Sanatana Dharma take refuge at now, at such a point when the Lord has left? Because until the Lord was present, like physically, uh, in his manifested pastime, so the Lord took a charge of protecting the dharma, and he even said, "Dharma sansthapanarthaya." So now the Lord, who was the refuge of dharma, had departed. So now who is taking the charge of protecting the dharma? So tat bruhi kathaya. So please tell about that to us. Kam ashritya sanatan dharma adhuna tishtati tacha bruhi. And please also tell that whose shelter uh, did the Sanatan dharma take? Yeah, the same thing actually. Yeah. So this is it. Okay. And here we complete chapter 1 of the first canto. Any questions here? Anything?
Try. There is a word, where is it?
Sampratam.
Sampratam. I mean, the aduna and idanim both mean now, and then what is the need of what is sampratam?
Belonging to the present time, presently, same thing.
Oh, okay, so it's just a repetition.
Yeah. Okay, so we start with chapter 2 now. Canto 1, chapter 2, and text 1. So Vyasa Uvacha.
Sorry, why were some words read in the previous one?
I don't know, it's the Prabhu who does this. Even I have to ask him why is it
Oh, all right, never mind.
just random, I believe. So that Prabhu is still active. He's doing the editing. Okay. Vyasa Uvacha. Iti samprashna sanhrishto विप्राणाम रौमहर्षणिः प्रतिपूज्य वचस्तेषां प्रवक्तुम उपचक्रमे. Okay. Vyasa Vacha, Vyasadeva is speaking now. He spoke. Vipranam Shaunakadi Brahmananam iti samprashna sanghrishtaha evam bhutai samyak prashnaihi samyak hrishtaha रौमहर्षणिः रोमहर्षणपुत्र उग्रश्रवः सूतः तेषां वचः वाक्यं प्रतिपूज्य सत्कृत्य प्रवक्तुं विशेषेण कथयितुम् उपचक्रमे आरेभे. I think you might have got the crux of what the verse is saying. So Vyasadeva is speaking that Raumaharshani, the son of Romaharshana, who is also known as Ugrashrava Suta, he was delighted. He was completely delighted. Samyak Hrishtaha, being asked such complete questions, such perfect questions by the Shaunakadi Brahmanas, the Shaunakadi Rishis. Now, Tesham Vachaha Pratipujya. Now, having Pratipujya would mean having respected, yeah, we can say, having respected those words of such Shaunakadi Brahmanas, rishis. Now Suta Goswami began Arebhe to narrate or to say out. He began to speak literally. Kathayitum Arebhe. Okay. Okay. Now this is the famous Mangalacharan.
What was the function of Visheshena there?
Visheshana Kathayitum, he spoke.
It looks like specially or with
Yeah,
special.
let me just try to put it together. He spoke wholeheartedly. He started speaking wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Means, of course, Visheshana can mean a lot of things, but I'm trying to put it in a best possible way. So wholeheartedly, because it's about uh, it's about Samyak Prashna. They ask the perfect questions. So now Suta Goswami is inspired to give the perfect answers. So let's say he spoke perfectly in that sense. He spoke wholeheartedly. Does it make sense? Maybe. Suta
Yes.
Uvacha Yam pravrajantamanupetamapetakrityam Dvaipayano virahakatar ajuhava putreti tanmayataya taravobhinedustam sarvabhuta hridayam munimanatosmi. So you might be knowing this is Mangalacharana verse of for Shukadeva Goswami, and almost all the Bhagavatam reciters they generally recite, especially to respect and to respect Shukadeva Goswami. And even Sridhar Swami recommends actually in his commentary that one should remember Shukadev Goswami by this prayer before delivering a Bhagavatam lecture or yes, like that. Okay. So Suta Uvacha, Suta Goswami spoke. Anupetam. Anugatam ekakinam अथवा अकृत उपनयनम प्रव्रजंतम संन्यस्य गच्छन्तम अपेत कृत्यम कृत्य शून्यम यम श्री शुकदेवम विरह कातरः पुत्र विच्छेदात् भीतः द्वैपायनः द्वीपे संजायतः श्रीव्यासः पुत्रेति पुत्र पुत्र इति प्लुतस्वरेण अत्र संधिरार्षः आजुहाव आह्वयामास तदा तन्मयतया शुकमय भावत्वेन शुकरूपतया तरवः वने वृक्षः अभिनेदुः प्रति उत्तरम् उक्तवन्तः पितुः स्नेह अनुबंध परिहाराय what is परिहाराय यो वृक्ष रूपेण उत्तरं दत्तवान् इति अर्थ इति स्वामी चरण सर्वभूत हृदयं सर्वभूतानां हृन् मनः अयते योग बलेन प्रविशति यह तम अनिम श्री शुकदेवम आनतः अस्मि प्रणमामि. Okay. Anupetam, which means anugatam ekakinam, one who is ekaki, one who is alone, ekaki. You know, we say ekaki, say amar. What is that bhajana? Ekaki amar nahi something.
कि हमारा नहीं पाया वाले
Yeah.
हरिनाम
So I'm alone.
Nahi pai bolo Harinama Sankirtane.
Yeah. So that I'm alone and I'm not able to take the holy name of the Lord on my own strength, something like that. So Shukadev Goswami, who was alone, ekaki, Uh, hmm. Anugatam. 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 Ekakina. So Anugatam means one who was followed by, because Vyasdev was following him. So Anugatam, he was being followed by. Or Ekakinam, he was alone. Atva, or else it would mean Akrita Upanayanam, that his Janev, that his Upanayana Sanskar was not done when he was born. Okay. Pravrajantam Sanyasya Gachantam. He left Gachantam, giving up everything. Sanyasya. This is like when Shukdev Goswami took birth. This is talking of that instance. So when he took birth, his Upanayana Sanskar wasn't done, and he just left everything, giving up everything. He just left. Apeta Krityam, Kritya Shunyam. Kritya means, so Kritya generally means the duties. In generally we hear Nitya and Naimittika duties. So for him there was no duties. Kritya Shunyam. Nitya and Naimittika, no duties to be performed because he was above the bodily platform, and no duties which were assigned to him yet because he was just born. Now, one who's just born, so it takes time for anyone to give him certain duties. So, Kritya Shunyam. So, in any case, Yam Shri Shukdevam, such Shri Shukdev Goswami. Now, Viraha Kataraha. So now Shukdev Goswami is running, he's leaving, he's running, and all these were his Visheshanas. Now Viraha Kataraha, Putra Vichedad Bhitaha, Dvaipayana. So Vyasadev is known as Dvaipayana because he was born on a dvipa, on an island. We know the story of Parashar and Satyavati uh, in a river. So it is said that he was born on a dvipa, on an island. That's why Dvipe Sanjata iti Dvaipayana. That's why his name is Dvaipayana. He was frightened, he was fearful because of the thought of separation from his son, because his son is just living, not considering his father and his father's concerns. So Dvaipayana, Vedvyasji, is Bhitaha, is fearful because of separation of his son. And he is calling his son out, Ahvayamasa, by saying, Ha Putra, Putra iti. He is loudly saying, Putra, Putra, Hey Putra, Hey Putra. Plutaswarena means, Pluta, okay, what was that? We did Purva Vamana, we did Parastri Vikrama in Sangya Prakarana. Did we did Trimatra Mahapurusha? I think no.
No, I think no.
So there is a concept. One is Vamana, one is Trivikrama, and one is Pluta. Now Vamana, if Vamana, I think I told that. To pronounce a Vamana Akshara, let's say it takes one matra. To pronounce a Trivikrama Akshara, it takes the double time of that Vamana. So 2 matras. So when Pluta is something which is even more stressed, so it takes more than 2 matras. Generally it is said 3 matras, but it can go even louder. For example, when someone is singing, then there can be Pluta. Sometimes we stress a particular word while singing. So that is Pluta Swara. We're stressing it. Kiva Jayo. So that Ya in Jaya is being stressed. Although that Jaya, the Ya is Vamana, but it is Pluta here. in singing. Second was when someone is crying. So when someone cries, so he takes the name of, let's say someone is dead, he takes the name of that person. So he cries and takes the name and he stresses the name. So that is example of Pluta. Calling out from far, like in this case Vyasadeva was doing. So we say a call, oh Krishna, so on. So so we stress the of Krishna. So that is Pluta. So these were examples of Pluta. Pluta. So Pluta Swarena. So Vyasadeva is also calling his son who is far. Oh, hey Putra, Haptra, Pluta Swarena. So this is Pluta. Atra Sandhir Arshah. Now generally, uh, when we have Pluta Swara, like, okay, Putra is a Sambodhana. Like, hey Rama, hey Krishna. Putra is also a Sambodhana, iti. So generally there should be no Sandhi. They should keep separate by some rule. But here Sandhi is being done. So it says Sandhir Arshah. Arsha means the usages by the Purvavarti Rishis. Although they are grammatically apparently incorrect, but because they are used by the previous authorities, these such usages are accepted. Okay, so this is Arsha. Now, okay, Vyasadeva, he is calling his putra in Plutaswara. Tada, at that time, Tanmayataya Shukmaya Bhavatvena Shukarupataya Tarava. Now the trees in the forest, they were as if they are Shukha, as if they are Shukdev, because of Shukmaya Bhavatvena. How would we say Shukmaya Bhavatvena? Because they were possessed by the feelings or the attitude of Shukdev Goswami, let's say like that. So now the vrikshas, the trees, as if possessed by the feelings, the emotions of Shukdev Goswami. So they acted like Shukdev Goswami. And what did they do? Abhineduhu. They responded to Vyasadeva's calling. Prati Uttaram Uktamantah. Abhinedu, generally Abhinedu means echoed. So in this case, they responded to Vyasadeva's calling of Shukdev Goswami. Okay. Pituhu sneha anubandha pariharaya यह वृक्ष रूपेण उत्तरम दत्तवान इति Swami Charana. So Swami Charana refers to Sridhar Swami. So Sridhar Swami says that in order uh, for his father to give up his affection, sneha anubandha. Anubandha is his attachment. I'm sorry.
Ties, the ties of affection.
Yeah, the ties of affection. So in order for his father to give up his ties of affection, one who responded, who gave the answer, Uttaram Dattvan, in the forms of the trees, via the trees. This is the meaning by Shukdev Goswami. And now someone may ask, how could Shukdev Goswami do that? How could he enter into trees and respond? So then, Sarva Bhuta Hridayam. Sarva Bhutanam Hrid Manah Ayate Yoga Balena Pravishati. Yaha. So one who enters Pravishati through the strength of his yogic siddhis, the yogic powers, into the heart, into the mind of all the living entities. Such Muni, such Sri Shukdev Goswami. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto such Shukdev Goswami. So yeah, that was it.
Anataha means?
Anata means I offer my respectful obeisances.
Acha.
Natah anatah. Namaskara. So, anything else here?
Very nice shloka.
So this Swami Charane is referring to Sridhar Swami who explained the verse, or what is it?
So basically, this is an excerpt from. Okay, first of all, although these anvays are done by Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada ji, but he took it from Sridhar Swami's commentaries mostly. Sometimes also from Jiva Goswami. So sometimes he clearly, mentions or refers them. Okay, Swami Charana and so on. So if you look at the commentary of this verse in Sridhar Swami's Tika, you may find it the exact thing there. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada added the Swami Charana. Like this. Anything else here? So please, we'll stop here for today and memorize the pratyas. Please keep doing the sandhis. And one thing I would say for sandhis, for practicing sandhis is, uh, you may start from Bhagavad Gita of Prabhupada ji because they are the synonyms. He had split the sandhis there in the synonyms. So what you can do is, first of all, you can see the shlokas and also have the dictionary with you and try to split the words, try to undo the sandhis. And if you get stuck somewhere, then you have the answers ready made there. So you can take help from the synonyms. So personally, I learned my sandhi that way, and it was really very efficient. So, so you try to do the whole Bhagavad Gita, gradually, and yes, you will be perfect in sandhis. Okay, so we'll stop here for today, and we'll continue the next Saturday.
Jai, Hari Bol.
Hare, and thank you for the test again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Hari Bol.